The Vanderbilt Commodores welcomed the Oklahoma Sooners to Memorial. Tyler Tanner and the Commodores are in prime position to knock off the Sooners at home. Can they make it 4 in a row?
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Vandy podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in the world. Thank you for making this show part of your day. Thank you for making us your first listen. And got a show. I'm Corey Burton, and I got a great show for you guys. This is going to be a fun one, right? We're talking basketball. This basketball team is exciting as ever, right? I'm going to make a prediction. I don't think I've done a basketball prediction yet this year for a singular game. So this will be fun because, you know, I've got a great track record for predictions. So I'm going to give this one a shot. So this will be fun. The keys to victory, as always, like I do for football. And, of course, I want to talk about Tyler Tanner a little bit, what he means to this team. Dude's a star, man. And there's a lot of star power on this team with him. He just elevates everybody from Tyler Nickel to the front court with Jalen Washington, A.K. Okirky, and Devin McLaughlin. Duke Miles when he's in, or if they just go big with Nickel and Tanner. Sounds like a band. With Nickel and Tanner in the front court or in the back court with the other three in the front court. I think they'll go with that lineup. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then just, of course, what this game means for Vanderbilt coming into it and all of that right here on the Locked On Vandy podcast. This episode is brought to you by Mazda. We put the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Now, this game for Vanderbilt is important. It's a chance for them to get 4 in a row. It's a chance for them to build, honestly, some serious momentum as they hit the stretch run of the season. Right? It's early February. You got a few games left before the SEC tournament. You're looking, you're eyeing a really good seed in the NCAA tournament. There's still a lot left out there on the table for you. After that 3-game skid, I was wondering, and most of Vanderbilt Nation was wondering what it was going to look like the rest of the year. It was at the beginning of the end, and it appears it's not. And if they can get 4 in a row, it's going to put them in prime position to really have a lot of confidence going through the rest of the season. And that's important because there's some tough games left out there. There's another game with Ole Miss. You got Georgia left on the schedule, Tennessee left on the schedule. You've got Missouri, which they're good. They're tricky. You got another one. You're going to Rupp Arena. You got 2 with Kentucky. You got A&M, who's playing really well. You're at Auburn next week. That's a tough matchup. Always, especially when you're going there. So, like, getting positive momentum is going to be great to be able to do well in that stretch of games because you get through that fairly unscathed. I think it's going to bode well for you in the tournament. It's going to bode well for you at NCAA tournament as well. So how do you do it? What are the keys to victory against Oklahoma? What do you need to accomplish? Because I think this one goes beyond the game, right? Because this is a winnable game. And I think it's going to be kind of more of what Vanderbilt can do versus, just like matchups and things. Like I think this is going to be kind of more just based on, hey, can Vanderbilt just get out there and dictate things, right? And that's got to be the first thing, right? Hot start, pedal to the floor, put immediate pressure on OU, right? And that's just how they play. Like, that's their identity. And when they can get off to their identity, this is where this team's dangerous. And it's that mentality of, like, you start out hot, you start out running, you start out pressing hard. You're not passive. You're not trying not to give up baskets. Like, you're just like, hey, you know what? If we give up a basket, so be it. I'm going to go all out here and play aggressive style of basketball. It's all about just taking your mentality to the opponent. And that's what Vanderbilt has to do here. They have to take their style of play to the opponent, and it has to be just an onslaught of things, right? So, what else needs to happen? Well, I'm going to tell you about that next. Last call for football. That's right. It's one final Sunday, one last kickoff. Final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with the special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. So if you're whether you're playing the favorite, you're riding with the underdog, whatever the case may be, FanDuel's the place for you. Now, for me, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. -4.5. I think they can win by 6. I'm going with the Seahawks, and I'm right now leaning towards the under, right? The over-under is set for 45.5. That's not a lot of points. I get it, but these are two great defenses. They're going to trade punches. So I'm going with that. I'm also probably going to put a prop bet on Jackson Smith and Jigba, 6.5 receptions. I think he's going to catch a bunch of balls. I think he's going to have about 8 receptions. I think he's going to have 8 catches at least. So I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. So then there's a million other prop bets you can get in on. So if you want to do that, it's a perfect way to cap off the season, make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. You got to make it count because after Super Bowl, the season is over. It's the last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. So just visit FanDuel.com to get started. Also, it's tax season. You don't have to let it take over your life. That's why TurboTax is here to support. Because guess what? TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. So take the taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Everydayer Club, I'll be real quick here. LockedOnVandy.supercast.com. Join the Everydayer Club. If you're already an Everydayer, just take it to the next level. You get ad-free audio. You get members-only access to a Discord channel, which you can interact with other Vanderbilt fans. We can really make a presence here on the Discord channel. So make sure you do that. The link is in the show notes. The link is in the description. Just click it. You'll learn more. Join the Everydayer Club today. All right, thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. Thank you for making Locked On number one. If you need a second listen in the network, Locked On SEC is the place to go. Now, how do you beat Oklahoma? What are the keys to success, right? Obviously, get off to a hot start. Put the immediate pressure on OU. Just really bear down. But honestly, with a thinned out roster, you got some injuries. Collins, not sure if he's going to be activated or not. You got Duke Miles, who is likely out. He had surgery last week, I believe. So the roster is a little thin. You're going to get a heavy dose of Chandler Bing, probably heavy dose of Mike James. But it's got to be the Tanner and Nickel show, right? It's got to be Tanner and Nickel because that duo is unbelievable, right? You have Tanner, who's an absolute star. You have Tyler Nickel, who's the sharpshooter, the creator. You're probably going to go with the same lineup you went against Ole Miss with Tanner Nickel in the backcourt and Okiriki, Washington, and McLaughlin in the front court with Bing coming off the bench. That's what you're going to have probably. And For Vanderbilt to have any success, and this game might be closer than maybe once thought. I think Vanderbilt's definitely going to win this one, but I think it's, Vanderbilt's been blowing people out, and they kind of had Ole Miss in that position, but injuries and Ole Miss being actually resilient, pretty resilient team, it just didn't quite work out that way. But I think Tanner is a bona fide star. I mean, the dude can do it all. He can shoot, pass, dribble, drive. He's a 5-tool player, and he is like, if he's good, if he feels good, if he's hot, if he's making shots, if he's getting to the rim, if he's doing things, this team responds really well to him. And it's going to be about just kind of how can he pace this game? How can he get Tyler Nickel involved in this game as well? Nickel is the sharpshooter. He is the guy that you're going to kick it out to him over to the wing. Defense is going to draw into Tanner to Nickel draining threes. Next thing you know, you're on a 9-0 run, and Oklahoma's heads are spinning. So the greatest band out there, Tanner and Nickel, it's going to be the Tanner and Tyler Nickel show, and that's got to be the way of life here until you get your roster a little bit healthier. So that's just kind of how it's going to be. And of course, gaining control on the boards, dominate the front court. I think one of the things that I've been impressed with is they're starting to find an identity in the front court. So just continue that. Find ways to rebound. Find ways to create baskets in the paint. And find a way to get yourself free throws. Find a way to get yourself control in an environment where you're probably at a disadvantage in most games that you're going to play in this league. So those are the things. One more time. Hot start. Tanner and Nickel gain enough control in the front court. You got this game whipped. And that's kind of where it stands. So, prediction coming up next. First, it's the Mazda moving the game forward. I want to highlight another front court guy. I highlighted Jalen Washington earlier. I'm going to highlight Devin McLaughlin because the resiliency that he showed was unbelievable. He came on after a rough 3-game stretch, is probably saying it lightly. He was downright awful, for being honest. And that dude, he just kept on going. He had that never quit attitude. He had that grit. And he just kept plugging, kept fighting. And he had a pretty nice little stretch there of games here in this winning streak. He is kind of taken over as kind of a versatile force within this front court. Now, when you look at his stats for the year, Devin McLaughlin is averaging 9.8 points a game, 6.8 rebounds a game, and he is 55% from the field, 75% from the line. He's 25% three-point shooter, although you could confuse him with Steph Curry sometimes, the way he shoots. But special player, kind of like a glue guy for this team, kind of like that just scrappy dude that's just going to get you're just going to get an ugly basket and everybody's going to get excited about it. That's Devin McLaughlin. Great player, great dude to have on the court. Now, it's that attitude. It's that stuff that reminds us of what it really takes to raise the bar. It's that extra work off the court and on the court. It's dialing in every detail. It's giving it that extra fire. It's that grit, and it's that I never quit attitude. That's the main thing with Devin McLaughlin. So we put that same passion into every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. All right, wrapping up here very, very quickly. What's going to happen in this game? Here's what's going to happen. Oklahoma struggling mightily. They're going to walk in, I think, to a buzzsaw here in Memorial Gym. I think Tanner's going to go off for another 25 points, 26 points. I think Nickel's going to have 17. I think McLaughlin's going to have 12. And I think you're going to have 4 guys in double digits. I'm going to say McLaughlin's going to have a double-double. Bing's going to have another 28 minutes. And he's going to score probably, I think he's going to be in double digits. So you might have 5 in double digits. and you're going to have a massive three-pointer that sparks this run by Mike James. And you're going to have this is going to be one of those games where you look at it and you're like, you blink and you're like, what happened? And I think there's going to be a lull, and I think Oklahoma's going to claw back a little bit and make some. But I think Vanderbilt's going to win this game 82 to 66. I think that's going to be your final, somewhere in that range. 82 to 66 is your final. Vanderbilt comes out victorious at the Crib. They get 4 in a row. That's what's going to happen. Hopefully they win by that much. But I'll take any win, but that's kind of where I'm at on this prediction. Auburn's up next. That's going to be a really tough road game, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Join the Everydayers Club. All right, we got more football, more baseball, more basketball on the way. Until next time, anchor down. Peace.